everybody, this is Owen here with the Hearts. Today we are going to take a look at adding support for iOS 13 to one of my apps on the store. It's called Items. It's an app where you can track payments. The last time I updated it was 2 years ago. And it's about time we got a new update out for it. So let's go ahead and open this project up in Xcode 11.1. So the first thing you have to do is accept the SDK license agreement. This is the first time I've opened up Xcode 11.1, and then I'm going to enter my password here. Then Xcode is going to install components. This generally takes about a couple minutes. And once it's finished, which it should finish any second now, it'll open up Xcode. Next, we're going to open up the Items Xcode project. And the first thing that we're going to do before we make any changes, let's just go ahead and build it. And it looks like it's kind of working. The button is off center there. This looks pretty terrible. Up here, the different pink colors. Here we have the search bar, which has like a darker pink with this lighter pink in the background. It just looks like a mess up here. Let's clean this up. That looks really bad. So we gotta fix those colors. But this plus button is just positively hideous. Let's try to add a couple items to make sure that works as expected. For the first one, let's say that we got some ice cream and it costs us maybe $1.50. And for the second one, let's say that we bought a chair and it was really comfortable. And then the amount, let's say that it cost us $200. And we paid for the ice cream, but we're on a payment plan or something for the chair. Cool. So the ice cream shows up and paid, and chair is not paid. Great. So in general, the feature itself is working pretty good. There's some visual issues to clean up. So let's take a look at our storyboard to try to fix that plus button first. Whoa, and right there you can see it's really consistent with the simulator. It's off-centered a little bit. Alright, what's inside of our view hierarchy? The status bar background, search bar, table view, button background, add button toolbar. Alright, here's the button. It has a background and then a toolbar. So I was using the toolbar a while back because I was trying to use a built-in system icon for my button. But the only way to do that was to use a toolbar with a bar button item. Now with iOS 13, you can actually use symbols in any UI image view or UI button. So let's go ahead and hook that up. So before we replace these with the button, let's just make sure that we've got the right size information. So it's a 60 by 60, 30 from the bottom, layout guide, and the center X is super view. It's aligned horizontally, centered horizontally. And it is hooked up to some outlets here, the add button toolbar outlet. The button background is hooked up to the add button background outlet. Okay. And then the add bar button is hooked up to the add action. So you just have to keep all of that in mind here and just remove it. No more button. Now we're going to add it back. Command-Shift-L will bring up your component library. I'm going to bring in a button here. We're going to add some constraints to make it 60 by 60. 30 from the bottom. Add 3 constraints. Control-click, drag up here to center horizontally in container. And then there was that nice pink color that we had. I bet you I can get it from the top up here in the search bar. Let's go find that. There's a bar tint, which is a custom color. F5 0085. F5 0085, yeah, it's the same color up there. So let's make the button that color too on the background. Oh, it's right there. Just to confirm that it's the same color. F5 0085, yep. And the tint color, right now it's blue. We don't want that, we want it to be white. But in iOS 13 there's something called dark mode, so we have to make sure that this button looks okay in light and dark mode. For example, if we just went with a simple white color, this might look okay in a light theme, but if you switch over to dark, it looks a little weird to have that white text there. It'd be nice if it kind of felt like that text was being punched through the button and not just sitting on top of it. That's the effect that I'm going for. So to achieve that, I think there's something here. System background color. See that? Where the color of the button text is the same color as the background. So if I switch this to light style, it stays consistent. It matches the color of the background. So let's keep that, but we don't want it to say button. Let's hook up an image. Look at all of these system icons. This is really cool. There are so many icons you can use now. This is one of my favorite things about iOS 13. It's just you have so many cool options to use for icons now. They're all built in. Let's search for plus. There it is. It's centered, it looks beautiful. If I wanted to increase the size of the plus, I could add a configuration, like maybe a point size. And if I change this to something like 30, yeah, it gets larger. I think 17 is probably fine for this button. So this is a square, and I had it as a circle before, a circle button. So to bring that behavior back, I'll just add a layer property here in our runtime attributes. It's a number, and the size of our button is 60 by 60. So if you make the radius 30, it will be a perfect circle. Very good. All right, we're going to hook up the outlets so that the action actually does something. Touch up inside. All of my actions are defined on the view controller. So the add action is there. And the referencing outlet. Interesting, so I had an add button background before. And now I don't have that. So what was that being used for? I can search the project for add button background. And you can see exactly what was happening with that. Yeah, so it's an outlet. And when you tap the add button, it was doing an animation with it. Had a from frame. And it created an animated view. So it was using that button just to get the frame from it in order to programmatically generate the animated view. And then it animated the view on top of it. So in this case, I think it's fine to assign it to the same button. But no, just to be really clean about the code, while I could just hook up this outlet to the add button, the add button that we have now is not the add button background. It's just an add button. The add button's background is on the add button itself. So if I don't rename this, I'm going to be confusing myself in the future. So let's rename this. The add toolbar. Well, we got to remove this too, the toolbar. It's just an add button. Very good. There's a refactor tool in Xcode where you can just rename all instances, but there's only a few cases here, so it's pretty easy just to tap through the search results in this panel over here to replace everything. So referencing outlet, view controller, add button. Very good. All right, so let's clean up some code. So back to the view controller. Let's find all places where we're using the toolbar. We were previously just setting it to hidden or not hidden. And since the view itself doesn't even exist anymore, we can simply remove it because it won't cause any other side effects either. Okay, let's build this. And voila, we have a new add button. The plus is centered. When I tap on it, we still get that animation. Next, we're going to take a look at this pink color at the top of the screen. There's just too much pink up here. So let's try to remove some of that. I am using it for the status bar region. Well, I could set it to a white color. In iOS 13, they have these new system colors. So let's use the system background color, which also happens to be white, but in dark mode, it's black. So I'm going to do the same thing to the search bar. We're just going to start using system background colors. Okay. Yeah, let's zoom in on this to get a closer look. There's a bar style here. Let's leave it as default. There's a search style. What's prominent? Or minimal? Interesting. All right, we'll just experiment with some of these options and see what we got. So there's a background color. Let's set this to the system background color as well. Nice, that looks much better. I'm not sure what this blue line in here is. Looks like it's just the edge of the selected component. And it goes away when you deselect it, so it's fine. Yeah, that looks much better. And if you change between light and dark, yeah, that looks lovely. I believe I also have a white background color on the entire view controller. Let's change that from the white to the system background color. The table view, I believe this is also at white. Let's change it to the system background color. So since I changed the background color to the system background color for the status bar, I used to be using a light status bar style, and I need to change this so that it will be flexible, so that when a user changes over to dark mode, it will be light, and if user goes to light mode, then the status bar will be dark. And the way to do that is to go back to the view controller. There should be a method called preferred status bar style. Let's go there. Right now it's just hard-coded to be a light style status bar. And we're going to change this to use the status bar style default, which will choose the right one automatically depending on whether the user chose light or dark. Let's see how this looks. Much cleaner. Now your eyes are drawn to the pink in the paid labels and the pink in the plus button down here. Now let's see how this looks in dark mode. In Xcode, there's this environment override section, and you can toggle between light and dark mode here for the simulator without having to drill into your simulator device settings. This is very convenient. So I can override it to light mode and it's still light. And I can switch to dark mode. Now it's dark. So the app looks great in both light and dark mode. Okay, so it looks like we're just about ready to package up the application, upload it. But before we do that, let's just go check to see what kind of warnings we have. We have a warning that we cannot use the plus symbol prior to iOS 13. And that's okay because I'm planning to change my deployment target to iOS 13. So I'm going to change it in the base project and inside the targets. And I'll leave the WatchKit app alone. Okay, that looks good. We're going to change the version from 1.1.2 to 2.0.0. Okay. Okay, now if we build, those errors should go away. Just one warning left. Mapping architecture, ARM64. Oh, and this one. What's happening here? The 42 millimeter long look is unassigned. The size of this image is 44 by 44 points. Let's reveal it in the Finder. Just to double check, it's 88 by 88. So that means we could use it in this slot right here if we wanted to. And then we're missing these two slots. Are they needed? We'll find out once we upload the package. I believe this error has to do with the simulator specifically. So let's just ignore this for now, and we can come back around to it later. So I'm going to go to Product. I would like to hit this archive option, but it's grayed out. And the reason is that we need to select generic iOS device in our scheme. Product, Archive, and waiting for it to build. And it finished building. We're going to distribute the application and just send it through App Store Connect. Upload. Include bitcode and app symbols and automatically manage signing. Generate an Apple distribution certificate. Xcode has created a new distribution signing certificate. The private key for this certificate is stored locally in your keychain and cannot be recovered if lost. Apple recommends exporting the certificate and the private key and storing them in a safe place. Great. I'll just do that later. And up it goes. So it turns out I needed these watch app icons because the app was not uploaded successfully. And it had an error saying I needed to include those. So let's go ahead and hook those up. Get the 100 by 100 up here. And the 216 by 216. Okay. Let's try to do this again. And up it goes. Fingers crossed. And we have successfully uploaded the app update to the store. So now I will just submit this app for review and hopefully it gets approved. And that's it for the iOS 13 app update.